Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we rapidly move on to fight number 5. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Make some noise for Phollawat! Sing Manasak
Broken glass on the floor, knuckles bleed, can't ignore. Screams echo through the night. No justice, just a fight.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. Give a big warm welcome to Xiaochun.
Snap fist fly on the street like glue. Knuckles cracks like beads. In this cage we grew. Concrete echoes loud in the night's dark frown. Shadows.
Our 5th bout is in the super featherweight division and it will be contested over 6 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, your fighter out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. Professional fight record of 17 fights, 10 victories, 7 defeats, no draws. Representing Thailand! Give it up for Phollawat! Sing Manasak Jim! And introducing his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the grey trunks, with 1 fight on his record, 1 victory, no losses, no draws. Representing China! Raise the roof for Xiaochun Lee! Your judges ringside, Nanthaekkaphong, Chris Sanyadet, and Carlos Costa. Your referee in charge of the action was Phollawat.
Okay, folks, we are straight into the action for this super featherweight fight scheduled for 6 rounds. China taking on Thailand. So we have Phollawat Singh Mantasakjim in the black short with the gold trim. Xiaochun Lee from China with the gray basketball shorts. This is his 2nd professional fight, taking on a very experienced Thai fighter, Phollawat, with 17 fights, 10 wins, 7 losses. But also it's worth a lot to have someone like Siramonkol in your corner as well. And here we are, round number 1 about to get underway, scheduled for 6. Xiaochun starts the action with a nice jab upstairs. Phollawat already on the back foot, looks very calm with that jab, just going upstairs with it as well. Xiaochun jabs down to the body, a beautiful jab down. But a nice slipping jab by Phollawat returns the action. Both fighters really using that jab beautifully in the first round, really setting the stage. The best punch you can throw in boxing, especially at the start of a fight, is your jab. Get your range, get your power, get your timing, and then deliver those big knockout shots. An overhand right attempted by Xiaochun Lee. And you can see Phollawat already dipping to his left every time he throws that jab and that left hook as well. So if his opponent can read that, he can definitely just throw that right hook over the top. So he's got to be very careful. And there we see that overhand right landed by Xiaochun Lee. Phollawat's got to be very careful. He doesn't keep dipping to that side without his hands up high, because all it takes is Xiaochun Lee to time with those overhand rights and those right hooks, and it will be good night Irene if he lands clean. Xiaochun Lee just starting to push the pace, but starting to just time his jabs beautifully, going to work to the body early on. And we've seen tonight there's been a lot of body shots that have been putting the opponents down. And that's the best thing in boxing, is you can win the fight just by going to the body, investing early into the body shots. Work the body and the head will fall, as they say. A big overhand right landed by Xiaochun Lee. He timed the jab beautifully. And that's exactly the shot he needs to try and look for right now. Wait for Phollawat to throw that jab. And when he leans, that's when you throw the right hand. Xiaochun Lee just bounces around with a high guard, staying out of the danger zone of Phollawat right now. So Xiaochun Li has found his rhythm and he has found the range. He's found where the danger zone is and he's found where he can land the shots. A nice right hand to the body landed by Xiaochun Li. I'd like to see Xiaochun Li really go to the body with that right hand as well. Really just aim for the hip area of Phollawat and really get the hands down of Phollawat. And as soon as they go down, send that right hand upstairs. Jab downstairs landed by Xiaochun Li. Both fighters looking like they're circling one another with jabs. Less than a minute to go for round number 1. And you can see now Xiaochun Li trying to load up that right hand. You can see his hips flexing, and it looks like he wants to unload with that right. And there it is. It gets through. Xiaochun starting to close the action, but doesn't take the bait, does not charge in. He's still biding his time. This is the first round. Get your timing down. Find your openings. A great jab downstairs, landed by Xiaochun Li. Phollawat really needs to start doing a little bit more. He needs to be more active with that jab, and he needs to commit to the jab rather than just flicking it out there, because Xiaochun Li is willing to take those jabs on the gloves to get a big right hand in. And that is the end of round number 1. It looks like we're going into round number 2 in just a moment, but here's some action replay. So there you see that nice whipping left hook to the body, landed by Phollawat. So there you see Xiaochun Li just timing that shot to the body very much effortlessly. He's just waiting for Phollawat to throw a shot, and then he's going down low. A great round for both of these fighters, but Xiaochun Li definitely looked in control and was definitely landing the cleaner, smarter punches. Phollawat is one of those tricky fighters where he throws a lot of shots off balance, but then he quickly throws in those hooks out of nowhere, and that's what usually shocks and wins for him. He shocks his opponent, and that's what wins the fight for him usually. So I'd like to see Xiaochun Li start to go down to the body with that jab, doubling the jab downstairs, even throwing the right hand downstairs. And as soon as his opponent gets confident, that's when he needs to throw the right hand upstairs. Get your opponent into a false sense of security and land your shots. Here we go, folks. Round number 2. Xiaochun Li from China in the gray shorts. Phollawat Singh Mantasak Gym in the black and gold shorts from Thailand. Scheduled for 6, we're in round number 2. Nice jab upstairs by Phollawat. So Phollawat a little bit more busy. And Xiaochun Li starting to throw that right hand now, and he needs to time that right hand over the jab of Phollawat. Jab downstairs by Xiaochun Li. A right hand attempted by Phollawat, but it did not connect. A big right hand gets through. And you can see now, Xiaochun Li is now just trying to find the target with that right hand. He knows it's there. He knows if he commits to it, it could end the fight, but he's got to make sure when it lands clean. Can Phollawat take a big right hand from Xiaochun Li? Both fighters just exchanging jabs. Moving a lot around this ring. A lot of nervous energy. Looks like it's been shaken off in this first round. And the second round, you see a nice hook being thrown by Phollawat. Very nicely done. Instead of just committing to the jab, start committing to those left hooks upstairs as well. Get around the guard of your opponent. So Xiaochun looks like he's moving, bobbing and weaving, doubling the jab right now. Slipping and moving. He's just, there it is, that right hand to the body, beautifully timed by Xiaochun Li. And he needs to commit to that right hand to the body just ever so slightly more. And once he does, it will really open up that right hand upstairs. Phollawat still standing, still flicking out those jabs. The problem here is Phollawat's not really committing to any combinations. He's just hoping the shots he throws are just going to land. And I think Xiaochun Li is just a little bit too active and a little bit too smart. And a big right hand gets through. And Xiaochun Li could really push the pace right now. Really just stick that jab onto his opponent's chest and then just dig through with the right hand. I'd like to see Xiaochun Li really hurt his opponent Phollawat into the corners. He doesn't need to be in the center of the ring at this stage. I think he's got his opponent where he needs him. And I think he just needs to start pushing him towards the ropes and to the corners and then throw those big right hands upstairs. Left hook upstairs lands. Phollawat throws a left hook as well, but Xiaochun Li returns with one of his own. A right hand downstairs, a jab gets through. And Xiaochun Li starting to close the gap. A right hand misses the target for Phollawat. Both fighters back again in central ring. 30 seconds to go of round number 2. And he's starting to slip and move, and he's starting to throw the counters now. And this is what Xiaochun Li needs to do. Just wait for the lazy jab of Phollawat and get with that right hand over the top. Dancing around, not long to go of round number 2. There is the clapper, 10 seconds to go. Big right hand by Phollawat, a great shot landed towards the end of that round, but is it enough to win that round? I doubt it. Great round for both of these fighters, and we're going into a third round in just a moment. Here we are with those action replays. So you see, Xiaochun Li was a lot more active, a lot more lateral, but due to the fact that he was being more active, it also worked Phollawat up. Phollawat realized he now needs to wake up and move more as well, and that's the interesting thing here. The more active Xiaochun Li is, the more active Phollawat is as well. But Xiaochun Li needs to believe in his power now and believe in those timings. He needs to double the jab up and get that right hand upstairs. He needs to push the pace against Phollawat. Phollawat is just going to keep dancing and flicking out that jab, but I'd like to see Phollawat start putting combinations together and trying to prove that he's trying to win this fight as well. Thank you everyone who has joined us so far for this evening. We still have 6 more fights after this one. So here we are. China takes on Thailand. Xiaochun Li in the gray. Phollawat in the black and gold. And here we are, round number 3, halfway through this fight already. Both fighters holding central ring. Both fighters flicking the jab out. Phollawat starting to be a bit more active with that jab, but he's got to be careful he doesn't dip that left hand a little too low, because Xiaochun Li has been trying to find him with that right hand all fight, and it's landed a few times, but it's not landed hard enough. Phollawat starting to close the gap now, starting to take the fight to Xiaochun Li, and I think exactly what Phollawat should be doing is taking the fight to his opponent. Xiaochun Li really needs to just get that jab and step in with the jab. Step in with the jab, aim for the chest, aim for the body, but aim for all 3 targets, head, chest, and the midsection, and the solar plex. A nice right hand gets through by Phollawat. A nice right hand gets through again by Phollawat. So Phollawat's starting to have some success with those overhand rights. And this is his best round so far. Xiaochun Li still looks very sharp, looks very calm. He's got to be careful. You can't just take too many shots. You can't just accept that your opponent's power isn't enough to upset you, because every shot counts in boxing. And a nice double jab. And the chin is being knocked back here. And this is where Xiaochun Li needs to push the pace. Rather than dancing and moving right now, he needs to start taking the fight to Phollawat. A nice triple jab as well, and a right hand downstairs. And this is what we needed from Xiaochun Li, starting to get more active. Another double jab by Xiaochun Li. Phollawat still trying to return with shots of his own, but it almost looks like he's now retreating back. And this is where Xiaochun Li should come alive. A nice right hand upstairs. Doubling the jab. And this is beautiful work by Xiaochun Li. He's now doubling and tripling this jab, and he's looking very effective. And those jabs are going to set up that right hand for him if he chooses to throw it. Less than a minute to go of round number 3. And I don't like Xiaochun Li in the center of the ring. I don't think he needs to be there. I think he needs to get Phollawat closer to the ropes and into the corner, and then start bullying his way through with combinations. Right hand upstairs by Phollawat. Xiaochun Li comes alive, a nice combination. Doesn't follow it up with anything else. Xiaochun Li just very, very very methodical. Taking his time, not rushing into anything, landing some good clean shots, looking like he could really push the pace, but choosing not to. And that is a man who was just trying to win the fight in a very, very nice fashion, proving to everyone how to hit and not get hit. Great work by Xiaochun Li. 10 seconds to go for round number 3. Doubling that jab once again. Jab downstairs by Xiaochun Li. Slips the jab and lands one of his own to end the round. What a beautiful sequence there by Xiaochun Li. Great round by both of these fighters. And Phollawat started that round with some beautiful overhand rights. He had some success with some big shots upstairs. There you see both fighters almost just jockeying for position, but Xiaochun Li really being great with that jab and just executing the game plan beautifully. Now you've got to remember this is Xiaochun Li's second professional fight. So naturally, if it's your second professional fight, you want to prove whether or not you can go a full 6 rounds with a full energy. So if you're wondering why he's not rushing in and trying to finish the fight, it's almost one of those learning situations for him as well. He's got to see, has he got the fitness level, has he got the focus to go a long fight with an opponent. So I believe Xiaochun Li is in control of this fight, and in somewhat, he knows deep down if he just pushes the pace, he will put Phollawat in a really difficult position, but I think he's just testing himself as well. And that is the bell, 4 seconds out, and we are going into round number 4. And this has been the longest fight of our evening so far. Every other fight has ended very quickly with some great shots. Back into the action we go. The super featherweight fight. China taking on Thailand. Xiaochun Li in the gray. Phollawat in the black and gold. Round 4. Both fighters in the center of the ring. A right uppercut attempted by Xiaochun Li. Did not hit the target. Phollawat goes downstairs with a right hand. And this is where Phollawat usually does well in the first 30 seconds of each round. He's usually active, and he usually finds the target with that right hand. And I like to believe he knows that right hand is available, but he's also very, very timid of the fact that Xiaochun Li is very, very fast. When you're up against a fighter who's very fast, it's very hard to want to commit to a hook, because if you know boxing, you know that a straight punch beats a hook every time. And he knows that Xiaochun Li's speed right now is just his best weapon. You even see it there. Xiaochun Li's speed just hitting the guard of Phollawat, but definitely getting Phollawat's attention. A right uppercut gets through and a double left hook by Xiaochun Li. He slips that jab, gets underneath that hook. Walking towards his opponent, a nice double left hook. The Mickey Ward special. Tap him upstairs and go hard downstairs. I'm surprised Phollawat is standing after that beautifully timed left hook to the body. Xiaochun Li starting to close the gap now, starting to go to the body. Phollawat looks like he might be hurt here. Xiaochun Li should really push the pace here. You can see Phollawat looks tired from those body shots. Xiaochun Li looking for the opening, but does not want to go in for it. Does not see the opening like we can. And you can see that left hook to the body is landing well every time. Xiaochun Li's corner should be shouting at him to just keep spamming that left hook to the body. A right hand as well gets in upstairs. And you can see Xiaochun Li now just bullying Phollawat in this 4th round. And he's going upstairs, but Phollawat returns with a right hand upstairs. Phollawat playing a little bit of possum there, pretending he's hurt and still throwing back with big shots. Credit to Phollawat. But I think Xiaochun Li has now got to push the pace and really try and put his opponent away. His opponent attempts to clinch him here. A nice double jab. Xiaochun Li still looks determined. He's finding his angles, but still not pushing the pace. Less than a minute to go. And this is what we were talking about in the middle of the round, which was Xiaochun Li right now is testing his ability to go a full fight without rushing in, but some beautiful left hooks. Even there, Xiaochun Li could have pushed the pace, but chose not to. A right hand downstairs gets through as well. Phollawat has barely landed anything in this round. A great round so far by Xiaochun Li. That is the clapper for 10 seconds. And still Xiaochun Li finishes every round very strong. Beautiful work and a nice slip with a right hand. And that is the end of round number 4. We're going into a 5th in just a moment. And here we see with those action replays, is that right hand downstairs. And that's the shot that I believe Xiaochun Li should really invest in right now. Invest in that right hand downstairs. Get your opponent to keep bringing his hands down lower and then really dig upstairs with a right hand. A great round by Xiaochun Li. I mean, I don't think he even got hit with any clean shots in that round. Credit to Phollawat though. There was a moment where Phollawat looked like he was about to crumble, and then he just threw a big overhand right from nowhere. And that's the great thing about boxing. Any punch can end this fight. So Xiaochun Li still boxing smart in a fight where, to me, he looks very much in control. He didn't need a knockdown, but that could have even been a 10-8 round to Xiaochun Li. And here we are for the bell. We're going into a 5th round right now. This super featherweight fight, Xiaochun Li in the gray, representing China. Phollawat in the black and gold, representing Thailand. And this is Xiaochun Li's 2nd professional fight, and he has boxed absolutely beautifully so far. Xiaochun Li just using a lot of lateral movement, circling around his opponent, just executing that jab. And just being very calm, being very patient. Phollawat very flat-footed at this stage and probably looks very tired. Phollawat probably just hoping for that Hail Mary right shot. That overhand right that Phollawat loves to throw. And there we see Xiaochun Li starting to push the pace, but still doesn't go in for the kill. Just keeps his opponent where he wants him, almost playing with his food, so to speak. Not really doing anything to stop his opponent at this stage. Big right hand upstairs. A nice jab by both fighters. A right hand upstairs landed by Xiaochun Li. And Xiaochun Li, you can see, is still trying to find that time with that pull counter. He's hoping Phollawat throws a lazy jab, and then Xiaochun Li is going to come over the top with a big right hand, but he's still not found the target with it in the 5th round. Halfway already through this 5th round, a nice right hand gets through. Xiaochun Li starting to go forward, starting to close the gap. A left hand upstairs. The referee's got to be looking at this one closely. What is Phollawat doing right now to try and win this fight? Xiaochun Li starting to go to town, and this is where Xiaochun Li should just push the pace. Almost do a Sugar Ray Leonard special and window shine. And that's where you just throw punches and bunches. They don't need to land clean. It's just enough to get the referee to step in. Joe Calzaghe had an entire career on the shoe shiner style of boxing. A big right hand gets through, followed up by a left hook as well. A right hand gets through, all of these shots landing clean. The referee's got to be wondering, is Phollawat doing anything to defend himself? Is Phollawat doing anything to win? Xiaochun Li teeing off on his opponent, almost like target practice at this stage. Every shot he is throwing is getting through clean. And we're now at a point where Phollawat's not defending himself. And I would be very surprised if... And there it is, folks. The fight is over. Xiaochun Li wins in the 5th round. And that is just exactly what Xiaochun Li was doing. He did not rush in for the kill. He did not go crazy in that fight. He took every opportunity in stride. He took his time. He didn't rush in. And he just got his timing perfectly down. He weared Phollawat down. He got Phollawat tied with those body shots and those constant leg spins that you could see Xiaochun Li doing. Xiaochun Li was just moving left to right, and it really tired your opponent out. Great victory by Xiaochun Li for his 2nd professional fight. And we see Phollawat is starting to be picked up, and he's now on his feet here. We're going to go to Ali McConey in just a moment with the official announcement. But a great victory for the man from China, Mr. Xiaochun Li. And one of those great situations where a fighter has proven.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after just 2 minutes and 1 second in round number 5, your winner by technical